Moin, ihr wunderbare Menschen des Interwebs. Ich begrüße euch ganz herzlich zurück zu meinem Let's Play von The Great Ace-Attorney Chronicles. Wir wollten uns einmal oben auf der Experimentation Stage umsehen. Würde ich sagen, wir gehen dort einmal hin. These stairs lead up to the experimentation stage. Let's go and see what we can find out. Let's go. Oh my, though, so this is the machine that was used to deceive people into thinking instantaneous kinesis had taken place. Yes, that's right, or rather it was the machine. It's a little worse for wear at the moment. What extraordinary lengths Professor Harebrained went to in order to obtain the research grant. No, the professor was tricked as well. He didn't know anything about it. Yes, of course. It is amazing though, isn't it? The scale of the whole affair is so very British. You're right about that. You'd never see such a grand deception in Japan, that's for sure. Oh look, is that... Lord von Zieks? So, I think we are more or less done here, aren't we? Shall we, Miss Susato? Already? He is the Reaper, remember? We do well to keep our distance, I think. But we have permission to be here from the top. We are perfectly well allowed to investigate this machine, as long as we don't touch anything. From the top? Do you mean Lord Strongheart? Exactly. So we can stay here and stare at this wreckage for as long as we like. She could have been at the center of the explosion here, and it wouldn't have bent her steel will. Okay. Dann würde ich sagen, wir gucken uns jetzt hier erst einmal um, bevor wir versuchen mit Barock von Zieks zu reden. What a terrible explosion it must have been. Even the steel girders? What? Girders have buckled and twisted in the blast. And what they called a birdcage was right in the middle of it all, just here. But look, Mr. Naruhodo, that metal grill on the floor. Looks as though it's designed to open. It does, doesn't it? If the floor had opened at the precise moment the explosion occurred, the birdcage could have dropped through and disappeared from sight. I don't think there's any doubt that this was a very elaborate hoax, is there? Ja, also sobald sich dieser Rauch eben gebildet hat und du hast dann eben den Käfig nicht mehr gesehen, wurde der Käfig nach unten abgelassen, dann eben für diese Illusion so, der Käfig ist verschwunden und taucht woanders wieder auf. This wasn't here yesterday. Really? But if I'm not mistaken, it's the cage in which the victim was standing before he was apparently beamed through the air. That's right, the birdcage. According to what Professor Harebrained said in court, it's made of wood. Or more precisely, Japanese cypress, I think. And despite having been in an explosion and then falling from a great height, it's relatively unharmed. What a wonderfully durable construction, wouldn't you say, Mr. Naruhodo? I'd understood that the forensic investigation team had taken it away yesterday to examine it. I suppose they must have brought it back here when they finished their work. But sadly not with the body inside it. No, that's right. I know we were given strict instructions not to touch anything, but still, this is too important a piece of evidence to overlook. We might need it for the trial. Okay, the birdcage from the machine has been entered into the court record. Gut, können wir hier sonst noch irgendwas untersuchen? Nein, dann gucken wir uns erst noch oben um und dann, wenn wir hier fertig sind, versuchen wir mit von Zieks zu reden. Look at that horn-shaped transmitting device. Isn't it amazing? That's exactly what I thought when I first saw it. It makes you think, doesn't it? If only it had just been a normal horn, none of this would have happened. That's almost... Verzeihung. That's almost exactly what I thought as well. I bet I can predict what you're going to say next in the case. You're about to say nothing ever goes to plan, aren't you? Oh, no, I would never say something like that. Okay, gut, dann können wir hier auch nichts mehr untersuchen. Dann reden wir einmal mit von Zieks. Least approachable man in the world. Winner 10 years in a row. Be strong, Mr. Naruhodo. Your country and your assistants stand firm behind you. Lord von Zieks. What? Well, beautiful weather we are having, isn't it? I thought I was making it quite clear that I didn't want to be disturbed. Apparently you Nipponese are unequipped to read the signs. Oh, I read them. So, what are you doing here? Entry to this area is prohibited. Well, the thing is... Lord Chief Justice Strongheart granted us permission to investigate, on the condition that we didn't disturb anything. And yet you've managed to disturb me. Never mind, state your business then. Come to think of it, there are quite a few things I would like to ask Lord von Zieks about. Not least of which is that awful case, even though it's nothing to do with this. Ask away, Mr. Naruhodo. You won't know unless you try. So, Clint... What's the name of your older brother? I understand, Lord von Zieks. You Nipponese. I always have to be on guard whenever you're around. So, you've been investigating me, have you? No, it's not like that. Well, alright, it is a bit like that. My older brother was also a prosecutor. He was the pride of the von Zieks family, but tragically, a vicious killer took him from us. The professor, you mean? Is something funny? That's the extent of what you've discovered, is it? I shouldn't be surprised. Sorry? There's more to it then? Lackluster work is very much your trademark, isn't it? You're too kind. Are you going to tar all Nipponese with the same brush next? So tell me, what's your interest in this historic incident? As it happens, Lord von Zieks, there's a rather curious case that's come to our attention. Are you aware of the Madame Tuspel's Museum of Waxwork by any chance? I am, naturally. I believe that since last month, I feature in one of the displays here for public scorn. Of course, the infamous Reaper of the Bailey would have to exhibit it, wouldn't he? Well, a particular waxwork has been stolen from the place and held for ransom. A particular waxwork? Which? Wait, you mean... Yes, it's the professor. Mr. Sholmes is investigating the case as we speak. I was unaware of that. He's turned as white as a sheet. Are the police trying to locate the engineer, Mr. Drebber, already? Surely that goes without saying. We are very keen to see him found as well. The trouble is, we don't have much to go on aside from the description of the man we heard in court earlier. Which, according to Professor Hairbrain, was of a tall, thin gentleman who has straight white hair and wears a black monocle. So I was just wondering, I mean, I realize it's probably not possible, but, we'd very much appreciate any more clues you can give us. Wow, Susato-san really knows how to take the bull by the horns. Fine, why not? I have a photograph of the man here from an investigation 10 years ago. So it appears he already had that black monocle at the time. What? No, nothing. I was just surprised that you shared that with us. We all need the man's testimony in court tomorrow, which means we have to do everything we possibly can to track him down in the short time available. So why wouldn't I show you the photograph? What is it about Lord von Zieks? Sometimes I just can't work him out at all. Okay, a photographic print of the engineer Mr. Enoch Drebber. It's hard to make out, but he appears to be wearing a monocle with black glass. Ich bin mir immer noch sicher, das ist Kazuma. Ah, the file I requested for the trial tomorrow. Thank you. Are you alright? Who is this man, Mr. Naruhodo? Lord von Zieks' apprentice, apparently. I'm not the only one. Susato-san can see it too. Lord von Zieks, may we speak with your apprentice for a moment? With him? Why? Kazuma-sama. Kazuma? I don't believe it. Your posture, your presence. It can only be... It's you, isn't it, Kazuma-sama? I felt something strange the very first time I encountered this cloaked figure. As if I knew him somehow. Can it really be you, Kazuma? Wait! Too late. What's going on here? What is your interest in my apprentice exactly? You act as if you know the man or something. Well, since when has he been in your care? I don't recall you having an apprentice before I left Britain 6 months ago. Lord Strongheart introduced him to me about 3 months ago now, with instructions to mentor him as a prosecutor. But he didn't tell you why, did he? The man appears to be suffering from amnesia. He's forgotten every last detail about himself. He has amnesia? Tomorrow he will appear in court at my side. What? He is to serve as my judicial assistant on Lord Strongheart's orders. He will be in court with us? Now then, unless I'm much mistaken, I believe this conversation has run its course. Yes, thank you. I definitely saw a reaction there. When Susato-san called out like that, it really seemed to hit a nerve. When she called out Kazuma-sama. You'd already met that masked man, hadn't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, yesterday, in fact, at Lord von Zieks' office. I see. And if Kazuma-sama really is still alive, it means that Mr. Sholmes lied to us. I know. We're going to need to speak to him about that. You're going to have to leave now. The forensic investigation team are due to arrive shortly. If they find you here, it will cause problems. What sort of problems? Foreign affairs problems. Well, we could do without that. Alright, we will be on our way. Let's go, Miss Susato. Of course. Well, I think we've done all the investigating we can here for now. If we could just determine the whereabouts of Mr. Drebber. I'm sure Gina and little Toby won't let us down. Now then, do you think we ought to try to speak with Mr. Sholmes at this point? We have things to discuss, and I'm dying to meet him again after all these months. Yes, it's quite possible he might know something useful, you're right. We ought to find him at Madame Tuspel's. He's supposed to be working there as a temporary waxwork exhibit. Yes, Iris told me all about about his latest unusual venture. Okay, das heißt, unser nächster Zielort ist das Museum und spätestens jetzt ist es doch wirklich sehr, sehr logisch, dass das Kazuma sein muss. Also, das kann, also wenn er die Maske irgendwann abnimmt und das dann doch nicht ist, wäre ich extrem enttäuscht, weil schon Naruhodo so eine Ähnlichkeit aufgefallen ist, also so, er hat das gefühlt, als würde er diese Person schon länger kennen. Und bei Susato war das genauso. Also ich kann mir das einfach nicht mehr vorstellen, dass das nicht Kazuma ist. Also ich bin mir sehr, sehr sicher, das ist Kazuma. Er hat irgendwie überlebt. Er hat, so wie von Zieks das jetzt gesagt hat, er hat sein komplettes Gedächtnis verloren. Er erinnert sich an nichts mehr. Und ich bin gespannt, ob, wenn wir im Gerichtssaal uns dann gegenüberstehen, ob er sich irgendwie wieder an alles erinnern kann. Ob er da dann irgendwie wieder, ja, sein Gedächtnis zurückerlangt. Da bin ich schon sehr gespannt drauf. Aber erstmal geht's weiter ins Museum. Das werden wir im nächsten Part erledigen. Ich bedanke mich ganz herzlich fürs Zusehen. Hoffe, ihr hattet Spaß. Und wenn ihr mögt, sehen wir uns sehr, sehr gerne im nächsten Part wieder. Bis dahin. Ciao.